Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and today we're going to have a closer look at the Knockies i10 TWS Airpods. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so for those of you that are not sure what i10s are, or the i10 is, these are replica AirPods, or earbuds, or AirPods, or whatever you want to call them, which are designed to be replicas of the very popular Apple AirPods. Now, as you can see, if I take them out of the case, you can pretty much see that they are very, very good clones, or copies, of the AirPods, and they come with a very low price tag. So the original Apple ones, you're looking at about $150, maybe a little bit less. These you can pick up for around about $40, maybe $50, depending on discounts and coupons and that kind of thing. Now these particular ones I've purchased from Knockies.com, which I'll put a link to in the description below so you can check them out for yourself. Now there are many versions of these earbuds going around on the markets at the moment, so I am going to only be referring to these particular ones. I can't comment on other brands or other manufacturers or other retailers because I haven't got them. These are the only ones I've got for reference, so please do bear that in mind. If you didn't buy yours directly from Knockies.com, then your mileage may vary. So what I'm going to do today is discuss some of the problems, some of the cool features, some of the nice things, and some of the other comments I've had on the YouTube channel regarding these Knockies earbuds. Now, some of them are very good, some of them are very frustrating, and some of them are downright weird and I haven't been able to replicate. So we'll go through step by step from my checklist and we'll go through all the individual aspects. So brace yourself, this could be a long one. Now the first thing that people have been complaining about is left channel dropout. Now this is something that I have actually been able to replicate, and I can actually replicate it on a regular basis. Now the way these Knockies work is the right hand side and the left hand side are two channels. So the right hand side is the primary channel, and this is used with the Bluetooth technology to connect to your device. Also, it contains the microphone in the bottom of the earpod. It looks like there's a microphone in the second one, but there isn't. It's purely a mono microphone in the right hand side. So the right hand side is the main one that communicates. The left one is effectively a slave, or kind of like a paired device. So the link between the two is done pretty much automatically. Now, because of the FCC IDs and all that kind of thing, these devices are designed to receive or take on any interference given to them, which in a lot of cases will create dropouts and loss of signal. So you'll generally find that the right side will remain connected and you'll keep on hearing things, but you may find that the left-hand side will drop out every now and then. Now, the way I've found that makes this worse is if you're in an electrostatic or electromagnetic environment, which would cause interference. Now, I find it particularly, now I've got a LED Wi-Fi bulb, which is in my lamp just over there. And also I've got my phone, laptop, etc. So there's a lot of Wi-Fi interference here and a lot of digital interference, which I do find actually causes the left channel to drop out relatively regularly, which can be quite frustrating. Now, I did find by putting the lamp further away, or having my phone further away, or any other devices such as things like cordless phones, household phones, because they work on a similar frequency, they can cause interference. So if you are experiencing dropouts on the left hand side, firstly there's kind of like a line of sight thing, so obviously the closer it is together and the less in the way of it, the better it's going to work. But also try and distance yourself from other Wi-Fi devices which may cause interference, and then you should find it absolutely okay. Now I've tested this theory out by just going out into the garden, walking around, and I've had no problems whatsoever. Generally walking around the house, again, no problems at all unless I go out of the range of the Bluetooth, but it's only when you're surrounded by other electrical devices that these do seem to struggle a little bit, which I guess is a similar thing for pretty much all of these true wireless earbud sets. So hopefully that kind of clears that up a little bit. Now the next one is lag in videos. Now this has been a pain for most Bluetooth devices over the years. Now I've found with these, particularly if I'm using it with my phone and watching YouTube videos, that the lag is pretty sort of unnoticeable. There is a very minuscule lag, but it's nowhere near as bad as other Bluetooth devices that I've tried. Now I've also tried it with my Microsoft Surface Pro using the Bluetooth on there, and again there is a very slight lag, but it's not a deal breaker. It's not as bad as other devices have been. But what I did find is when I'm playing games on an Android device, there does seem to be a massive lag. Now, if you've experienced this, obviously let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to know if you've experienced it on specific games, or if it's certain titles which cause more problems than others. I've tried it with Asphalt 8, and with that, the lag was ridiculous. It made the whole thing a horrible experience. But generally, with videos, YouTube, and listening to music, and also watching videos on the laptop, it's been absolutely fine, and the lag has been pretty much nominal, hardly noticeable. Now the next one is a little bit of a weirder problem and kind of relates to what I've just talked about. Now some people have mentioned that the earbuds have actually got inverted sound. So what that means is any noise or sounds which are supposed to come out of the right earbud would come out of the left, and vice versa. Now I never noticed this at all. It wasn't until I actually went onto a YouTube video which actually tests left and right hand channels when I actually noticed it. Now generally when you're watching a film or you're kind of listening to music, you don't really notice these things, but in certain gaming environments, and also if there's kind of a film you're watching where the spatial sound is very important, then that is going to be a big problem for you. There are an updated version of these Knockies i10s which apparently have had that firmware or BIOS or whatever it is changed, so you don't get that anymore. So if you're buying Knockies anytime after the release date of this video, then you should find that the Knockies you receive will be absolutely fine and the sound will come out of the appropriate earpiece. Now the next section is something which I've struggled to recreate. Now this is difficulties connecting to Bluetooth. Now some people have found that when they've tried to pair these to their device, now again I'm not entirely sure whether they are Airpods from Knockies directly or whether they're other third-party ones or other manufacturers, but for me these have connected every time to any Bluetooth device I've tried, and they've always appeared as AirPods in the device listing, and I've always paired and also repaired automatically when I've taken them out of the box, and also disconnected when I put them back in the charging case. So I haven't been able to reproduce that. If you have experienced this problem, and that is one of the reasons why you're watching this video, then please do let me know in the comment section below which version of these you've got and where you purchased them from. Hopefully then we can clear this up. Now if connecting isn't a problem, then charging definitely is for some people. Now the charging area for these pods is actually on the base. So there's two metal connections which connect to the base of the charging dock. So inside there's contacts, and the metal as it goes in makes the contact and starts charging. So I again haven't found any problems with the charging. The only problem I've found is actually trying to work out how much charge is actually left in the individual buds. It does show you in your Bluetooth devices what the battery level is like, but unfortunately it only shows you a general level which doesn't take into account if one is slightly flatter than the other. Now with the right hand side one being the kind of the primary or the kind of the main bud, and the left hand side being like a slave bud, it doesn't do as much as the right hand side one. So you may find that although your battery is showing a certain percentage, is actually lower than it is because of one using more power than the other. Again, this is just my opinion. I'm not an electrical expert, but in my kind of thinking, if the right one is doing more work, the battery is going to run down slightly quicker. That's something people have actually mentioned as well, the battery time. What is the battery time, or how long do they last? Now, in my experience, if I'm watching a movie on the laptop, generally they'll last for the length of a movie. So anything up to about 2 hours, thereabouts. Listening to music, a little bit more, up to about 3 hours. And if you just got them on standby and you're driving or whatever, a couple of different uses, probably up to about 6 to 8 hours depending on your usage and how many calls you take. So that is pretty much a rough guesstimation. Again, because we don't know exactly what the charge levels are in the pods or the buds, I can't be exactly sure, but that's a rough ballpark of what you can get. So going back to why they charge and why they don't charge, now mostly it's down to there being either dirt or grease or something actually on the metal contacts, or the metal contacts not making a proper contact at the bottom of the base. Now I've found that when they go in, they're magnetic, so they get pulled into the receptacle, but sometimes they're not quite fully in. So it is always worth giving them a slight tap just on the top, just to make sure that they're firmly in, and then you can close the lid and make sure they're charging. And you do have a telltale sign on the front because you've got the 4 LEDs. Now the 4 LEDs don't really tell you much, again, about charging. It just tells you that they're being charged and the light will go out when they're charged or the charging unit is flat. But if you do take out one of the buds, 2 of the lights will go out. And if you put that one back in and take out the other one, then the other 2 lights will come off. So if you're putting your pods into the charging base and only 2 of the lights come on, then one of them isn't firmly in. So then you can give it a little wiggle and hopefully then it should charge. Now the next one is quite a big one for a lot of people who found this problem. Now that is the call quality actually in cellular phone calls. Now due to it only having a single microphone, that possibly doesn't help, and I'm not sure if there's a great deal of noise cancelling going on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually phone myself at home so you can listen to what comes out of the speaker so you can tell what the interference is like. Now I've done this already and I've tried it. The call quality is passable, but it's not brilliant. And when you take into account if you've just been listening to music on these or watching a video, the sound quality is actually amazing. So if you then switch from that into a telephone call, you will notice a massive drop in performance of the call quality. Now my thinking on this again is because it is in transmit and receive mode for the buds, then it's using more power, so it has to reduce the call quality to get the bandwidth. Again, I'm not an electronics expert, that is just my theory on it. When you're listening to music, they're in one-way communication, so you're just receiving information, so it can translate that and use all the bandwidth available to it to make that good sound quality. But again, take that with a massive pinch of salt, because again, I'm no electronics expert, that's just my theory. So let's try these out. So I'm going to phone my home phone, and then I'm going to put it on speakerphone so you can hear what the interference is actually like, and hopefully you'll be able to pick it up. Now I'll put this on speaker so you can hear what the static is like. So there is a little bit of feedback, unfortunately. But it does definitely seem to be some interference. So there we go. You can kind of understand what it would sound like. There's probably a massive echo, but there is like a sort of static. Maybe you can pick it up. Okay, that's enough. That's going to kill the earphones. So definitely the call quality isn't excellent, and for some people that may be a deal breaker if you spend more time actually in calls than what you do listening to music or videos or whatever it may be. So if call quality is a priority, personally I would say don't go with a Bluetooth headset. You're probably better off with a set of earphones with a microphone built in. Again, that's just my preference. But if you're looking for a proper, really good quality audio, then a wired headset is generally the way to go. So moving on to another problem. Some people have complained of a continuous alert when there's nothing playing. So if your device is maybe going into some sort of standby mode, the Knockies or the i10s of whichever variety it is were bleeping as if they weren't connected. Now again, this is something that I haven't been able to recreate. If you've managed to get this or you have got this, then again let me know in the comments where you got them from, what model you've got, and also what phone you're using as well. That might be quite important. Some phones do go into quite a heavy power saving mode for the Bluetooth, so maybe they are cutting off prematurely when they shouldn't be. But again, let me know in the comments and we'll try and work that one out. So that pretty much covers most of the bases. Now on the plus side, I personally do really like these, despite their kind of odd flaws in some cases, like the inverted sound or the lag in playing games. Personally, if I'm playing a game on my phone, generally I won't be using my earbuds, so I'll just use the speakers in the phone. So for me, it's not a deal breaker. And again, when I'm listening to YouTube videos or watching videos or whatever it may be, I've not found any problems. Again, same with PC or laptop, no problems there whatsoever. I did actually try these as well with my PC over a Bluetooth connection, doing some live streaming, playing games, and the sound was still inverted, but there wasn't any lag there, or no perceivable lag, so not a problem there. But that pretty much wraps up everything I want to say. They do sound great, They're really handy, and the fact that you can just grab a USB-C charger, plug them in, or stick them on a wireless charging plate and charge them, that's a great thing. It would be nice to see the individual charge levels of the pods, but again, it's not going to happen in this particular revision. Maybe in future revision, or maybe they can add something to the software so that you can see it on your phone or your device to see what the individual charge levels are like. That would be a nice thing to see. But again, it's not really a deal breaker, and for their intended use, i.e. essentially listening to music whilst you're out and about or on your phone, they're fantastic and they do a really good job of that. They're very robust. I've dropped these a few times now and they're still working as they should, so no problems there. So again, let me know in the comment section below what you think of these devices, or what your problems have been and what methods you've used to try and resolve them. So these have been the Knockies i10 TWS. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully this video has been of some use to you. Thanks for watching.